Yeah. Let's get, we haven't been doing a whole lot of soccer news, a lot of football news, you know what I'm saying? Let's do something today. All right, let's get right to it. Right here in this video, I'm actually going to agree a little bit with Craig Burley, you know what I'm saying? And um clearly, like I've had the opinion that Pulisic might be the most overrated American athlete in a while. You know what I'm saying? I think one of the most overrated, um, um, footballers out there. You know what I'm saying? Not saying he's not quality, but he's a little bit overrated. Well, I'll just say he's overrated, but almost like how I believe that Steven Gerrard is a little bit overrated, but he's a legend. But I think he's a little bit overrated. Kind of the same opinion I have of Wayne Rooney. He's a little bit overrated, just a little bit. But with Pulisic, but like I got respect for Rooney and Gerrard in their ways because they're legends. There's no debate about that. But when it comes to the reason why I would say like Wayne Rooney and like Steven Gerrard are a little bit overrated is because I wouldn't consider them like I would not consider them to be like the best at their position in terms of when it comes to the Premier League all-time 11. I have a contention like that's my contention because I believe there are plenty of Premier League forwards I would take all time over those guys or over Wayne Rooney, or there's plenty of Premier League midfielders I would take over Gerrard. You know, like there's like plenty, you know what I'm saying, but they seem to always just get shot up at the top. Like they're like automatics and I'm like, that's all. But back to Pulisic. Yeah, Pulisic is overrated. But let's see here how the American media are trying to protect him again for no reason. That's one thing about the American media. If they love you, they fall. If you have a PR, you need if you're gonna be in a public eye, you need a strong PR team that's gonna make you so lovable. You know what I'm saying? Everything they make sure everything goes and they make sure they're well shaven. You're never gonna see Pulisic with a beard anytime soon. That's on purpose. You know what I'm saying? When they do stuff like that, like they make sure his face is perfect. They make sure he says all the right things, make sure he's as American as possible. They always tell him, make sure you have the American flag on the get-go, like you Captain America. This is all planned. You know what I'm saying? So this isn't hold on for a second. I think I messed up something. This isn't sorry about that, guys. Like this like this is all planned. You know what I'm saying? But Raheem Sterling apparently is on Chelsea's radar, and this guy is gonna go to great lengths, and he's worried about Christian Pulisic's job. And I'm just like, if you're really that dude, it really should not be a problem. But let's hear this video anyways.
Christian Pulisic, you know the news. Raheem Sterling was here with Christian Pulisic. You know the news. Raheem Sterling was linked to Chelsea over the weekend. U.S. fans saw that and thought, okay, this is bad news on multiple fronts. One, in the short term, it's not going to be good for his playing time, and I don't think it bodes well maybe long term for Christian Pulisic either. Are U.S. fans wrong for thinking that? I mean, it's bad news for Pulisic here, isn't it?
Well, we were talking about this in the ESPN FC show at length for the last couple of days, primarily because there's not a lot else going on at the moment, and it is quite a big story because Raheem Sterling has been front and foremost for Man City in England in recent years. He played, I think, 47 times last year with 17 goals, 8 assists, but not all starts. I think 32 starts, and there's some sort of frustration within him that with the arrival of new players, that might be reduced even more now.
Like when the reports had came out First of all, I didn't even see a whole lot of people talking about Pulisic only until ESPN FC brought it up. They're clearly Pulisic. They're trying, like, the American media are just trying to, because I even really see a whole lot of Chelsea fans, talking about Pulisic or worrying about Pulisic because, look, Pulisic is replaceable, bruh. I've been trying to tell you guys.
Why are you?
Like, I've been trying to tell you guys this for, like, I don't know how long. Pulisic is a very replaceable player, bruh. Let's continue.
I hear you. Why are we talking about Raheem Sterling? Let's get to Pulisic. But it's all part of the story, and I think he wants to sort of move on. But why all this negativity? I thought the American sports fan was supposed to be full of positivity and, you know, looking forward.
No, and just a PSA to, like, the people that are listening overseas. The American media might be the biggest especially the American sports media might be the biggest hypocrites in the world. They act like it's all about meritocracy. It's not. In America, there's really no such thing as meritocracy. Like, I'm just saying, there's no such thing as meritocracy. It is so much hypocrisy. Basically, if you are trying to make it as an athlete, who you have on your PR team is going to be more valuable than what work you put in on the court.
What?
Literally, it's literally about making sure the people in the media, you got to make sure, like, the American athletes, what they do, not only do they train as hard, they make sure they are PR ready by, like, 16. Like LeBron James, like, the reason why you see his interviews and he was almost already so mature, they already knew he was going to be a star for the long term. They already knew that. So they made sure that dude was media trained. So by the time he was 16, 17, look at his interviews. He was already media trained because that's important. Look what's happening to Kyrie Irving. He's speaking his mind. And look how they portray him as. They act like this man is some kind of idiot, a flat earther, even though that has been misconstrued so many times. Like they've lambasted. Look what's happening to Kevin Durant with the hate he's getting now. If you are not media trained, you're fucked. That's it. American sports media is all about making sure you create a lovable character for the public to consume. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, they want an image, and on top of that, they want a certain image of person for each position. And it's not just about a black and white thing. Like, if you like I said, it's like if you are a if you are a black man playing the quarterback position, you're probably gonna have to cut off your dreads or your braids. Or how about this? If you a black running back, keep them dreads. They're gonna think you cold. Yeah, I'm just telling you, man. It's just, we always in America, we have an image of what things really should be, but things are actually a lot looser. But we try to act like things are. It's like America is such a hip. It's American media is full of mess. But we act like we actually had a standard. We never really had a standard. But it's just the image that we like to portray.
And going to be the best, but every time around Christian Pulisic, it's always got to be something negative. Here's the deal, American soccer fans. If you want your players to be big time in the big league like this guy, then when you move to big clubs at elite level, guess what? There is competition for places. And bearing in mind Chelsea's position, Sebi, last year, a long way off, Liverpool and City, bearing in mind they've got.
And that's what, that's what most American soccer fans don't realize. Like, maybe because I'm just so used to seeing it, because I've seen Real Madrid almost every year, every day. Oh, not every day, sorry. Almost every other month. I always pay attention to the big clubs, and especially clubs like AC Milan, Real Madrid. When AC Milan was big, but especially Real Madrid. Real Madrid, they literally buy big players every single year, outside of, I think, the year when Zidane had won the Champions League and they had a transfer ban and they couldn't bring in any players in for a little bit. But um, I don't think people realize. People just see, they look at Modric, Cruz, and Casemiro, but people forget they have bought so many midfield players. Look, it don't matter how much they win. Always be making big money moves for guys that can't even break into the team. They always buying new players, new young players, I'm talking about players to that push the veterans, bro. Isco can't even get a start most of the time, and he's a club favorite. Why? It's competition. It's competition. That's what happens when you go to the big clubs. They're always buying the newest, brightest young star. That's what it's always pressure. It's always pressure. There's always somebody trying to steal your spot. It don't matter who you are, bro. For the most part, it don't matter who you are. Most football players are not irreplaceable. That's why the ones that stand out, you go like every year. And I know that happens too in American media, but like I said, in American sports, when you talk about football and stuff, you can have like a quarterback that they'll get, and like, okay, he's gonna be the starter for. They're gonna give him 3 years, you know what I'm saying, to fail or succeed, where he has this in soccer. You fall off, they're replacing you. It don't matter how long you've been at the. Look, man. Football, you gotta be informed. You can't even afford to be injured all the time. You could be a world-class player. If you get injured all the time, look what happened to Gareth Bale. World-class. Them injuries just keep piling up on him. World-class. Those injuries start piling up. Eventually, his ass got replaced. Look at Eden Hazard. That's what happens when you at these big clubs. Keep going. They buy. They have a big transfer every single year. Big transfers every year. Every new club, every new big star, whatever. Every year. Your place is not guaranteed. And this is why American soccer is never going to blow up, because they try to follow the same model that American basketball and American football follow, where you get these guys that you build around. No. Best player gets the spot. And your spot is not guaranteed. That's how it works. That's how European football works. Look at Real Madrid. They're still buying center midfielders. They buy center midfielders every single year, bro. You be like, okay, it's about time Modric and Cruz get out. Okay, let's buy another one. They do this every single year. And this is what American, soccer fans, because I didn't really see them complaining. But I guess I missed it because, like I said, I don't be following this stuff. But since he's asking it on a show like this, clearly they're trying to protect him or something. The same way they were trying to protect Jack Wilshere and Theo Walcott and Friends. You know what I'm saying? Clearly American media are trying to put some investments into this man and try to make sure. I mean, this dude didn't even start for the Champions League final. They still had like a camera following him. That told me everything I needed to know. You know what I'm saying? But what American media don't understand in European football, look, man, I done seen, man, they just cycle you out, bro. It don't matter how much goals you scored, bro. You lose form, you out. There ain't no Kobe Bryant send-off year. I'm telling you, nigga. Like, man, listen, man. European football is cold-blooded, bro. European football is cold-blooded. You could be, look at Casillas, man. Casillas was at the club forever. They didn't even give him a proper send-off. Only the select elite few gets to have a proper send-off. A select few, bruh. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, man. Man, like I'm saying, European football is cold-blooded with the competition. And if somebody like Sterling is causing a stir just because of that, that means American soccer has a big problem. if this is our supposed best player, even though he's not America's best player, but if Sterling he's gonna give you problems, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, it's all about competition. It's all about competition when it comes to European football. I'm sorry, I've been going on way too many rants in 2 minutes in. This is going to be a long one. I'm sorry, guys.
New ownership who want to make some sort of statement that looks like there's going to be even more competition for Mr. Pulisic.
Yeah. I mean, the point about competition is totally fair. I think that's expected, and we've heard a lot of angst from American fans.
Well, really from him. This nigga worried for no reason. Lord have mercy.
For that. The reason there's, I think, Craig, a little bit more angst than usual is today, right now, we are 5 months from the World Cup, and you know exactly how important Christian Pulisic is to the U.S. men's national team. So pretend you're his advisor.
By the way, America is losing all 3 games. Just to let you guys know, I looked at the schedule. They're facing Wales first. They're going to lose to Wales. They're going to overcompensate. They're going to get caught out, and they're going to lose to England 2-0 or 3-1. One of the two. And the third match, what's going to happen is the third match, I think they're still going to be in contention. And they will bottle it versus Iran. That is my official prediction. That is with a healthy Pulisic or without a healthy Pulisic. I'm telling you, that's how it's going to go, bro. I thought England was going to face them first. But no, they're going to face Wales first. And people are acting like Wales is not better than America. I'm just like, oh, wow. I'm just so happy I don't listen to these people. And I can just listen, and just look at it and just give my opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful because I can make the proper predictions. You know what I'm saying? Like when it came to Croatia, like in the 2018 World Cup, Croatia was my dark horse. And not many people, I'm talking about the experts, didn't even have Croatia. I'm like, Croatia, it's my dark horse. And I had Belgium. I had Belgium and France. I had Belgium, France, and I had Belgium, France, and somebody else as like my top 4. It might have been Croatia, but I had Croatia making it all the way to the semifinals. I didn't know they were gonna make it to the finals. That was not, you know what I'm saying? But like people just do the typical easy shit. Oh, Germany. Oh, Spain. They go. That's not gonna happen. I was just like, bruv. I said, first of all, France's team is just fucking stacked, and it's just like they had so many ways that they can play, so many options. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just sitting there like, how do people not see? I'm like, and look at Croatia's squad. You know, I'm not saying I didn't have England. Like England surprised me, but how far they went. But it was like their path to the semifinals. I mean, it was pretty easy, and that's why they lost to Croatia. Okay, and I was one of the few people that had Croatia beating England because I was like, Croatia is better than England. But people wouldn't be able to see that because they just can't look at things like this objectively, man. They just can't. I literally said, look at their midfield. They have a better midfield. They have a solid defense. And they have solid options up top. They have guys like Rebic. They have guys like Perisic. They have guys like Kramaric. You know what I'm saying? They have guys like Mandzukic. I mean, these are solid players, bro. These are solid players. You might not think much of them. These are some solid ass players. Most people don't even know who Kramaric is. Most people don't even remember. Like Kramaric used to play like up top. I'm talking about before he went to Bundesliga. He used to be like a striker. Like now he's been playing like more behind striker, and he's been successful at that. Like people like don't understand. Like a lot of the Croatian forwards, they have so many layers, you know, to their game. You know what I'm saying? Like they're very well versed. Like they're always, when you're dealing with a Croatian forward, they're not one dimensional. Now it stops a lot of the Croatian starters. Like you're not gonna like this. There was an old Croatian player that people probably don't remember, Ilic. He used to play for Bayern. He was solid as hell. He was a solid striker. You know what I'm saying? But like Croatia's was a sleeping giant for a while. I've been paying attention to Croatia ever since like 2000. I'm talking about since I was a kid. I was like, oh, they have some pretty cool players, and some pretty cool players. Like I'm talking about from the youth academy coming up. I remember looking at Kovacic. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about I'm talking about before he went to Inter. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna be a fucking star. You know what I'm saying? Like and you'll just be like, how do people not see this? But like I said, most people just watch the Premier League. They don't watch no other league but that. And that's what I found out. That's what I found out when I start really paying attention to like the media in shit like that. And I would bring up like another club and they'd be like, who? And I'd be like, oh my God. I'd be like, oh my God, they don't know such and such. I'll be like, oh, okay. That's your ass. Once you see him in the World Cup, you're gonna get got. I said, watch out for Perisic. He ends up scoring against England. Like you can't make this up, bro. So you guys got to start doing your research on these players, man.
Right? He's 23 years old. He's got 5 months to the World Cup. Let's say Chelsea do bring in Raheem Sterling. Would you tell Pulisic to stay at Chelsea?
Yes. I mean, if you don't want competition, just stay at a smaller club.
Yeah, I mean, he played a sufficient amount last year. He had injuries along with Ziyech and others. I think he had kind of similar game time to them, maybe a little less. Was a little bit more productive.
They both had the kind of the same amount of player time. Pulisic a little bit less, I think. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not Thomas Tuchel. I don't know how much he's going to use him, and I keep hearing the same thing. Why is he not playing more? Why is he not in the team? What's
Injuries.
this sort of
Injuries, inconsistencies, and on top of that, he be missing a lot of point blank chances. I'm sorry. I want you guys to rewatch Chelsea's run to the Champions League final in the 2020-2021 season. There was a lot of times, the way Tuchel has set up that team, Pulisic would literally come off the bench, right? They would play 3 up top, 4 in the midfield, 3 in the back, for the most part, especially when Tuchel came in. When Pulisic would come in, the defenders would be tired. The Chelsea would have had already scored first, and it'll be a counterattack, and it'll be like 4v2 or 3v1 or 3v2, and Pulisic will have a point-blank chance. And I'm just saying the chances that Grealish got ripped for missing this year for Man City, Pulisic was doing that literally the whole time during the Champions League run. He did score versus Real Madrid, and so they hold on to that. But I remember everything else. You know what I'm saying? That's why he doesn't start, because he's really he can be quite inconsistent. You know what I'm saying? And that's really why he doesn't start. And the injuries, you just can't play him 90 minutes. You can't. You can't play him 80 minutes. You can't. Yeah, fuck 90. He can't play 80 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
The Americanism, all this sort of nonsense. And look, he didn't get regular game time.
He said Americanism.
Time under Tuchel so far. He didn't get it under Frank Lampard. He didn't get it at the end under Lucien Favre at Dortmund. He has to stay clear of injuries.
And Lucien Favre, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Lucien Favre, he was very underrated in some of the development of a lot of those Borussia Dortmund young players. But let's continue.
And this is a concern for players at these clubs with big squads who rotate when you have a World Cup. But please, 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 this is not anybody trying to derail the US men's national team attempt at being successful at a World Cup. This is not managers survive and thrive on results. They play the best team in their mind whenever they select a side. They don't sit there on a Friday, Sebi, and go, oh, how can we screw up the American players today?
Thank you. Like, for real. So I don't want to hear all this nonsense about Pulisic playing time. Those are the people that don't watch him play. Because when I'm just saying, like, I'll be paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just quiz the average like football fan. You'd be like, who's the best dribbler on Chelsea? Who's the best ball handler on there? And if they say anything like Pulisic or they start saying that, they just you already know. I'm not gonna tell you the answer to that question. We should already know. I mentioned his name in this episode. I'll let you figure that out. But I bet you his name already, glowingly too. So it's really obvious. Like, these answers are obvious, but if you know what I'm saying, it's like it's really interesting, man. It's really interesting. You'll have a critique of somebody and they'll think you're attacking them. You know what I'm saying? But yep, it is what it is on that.
It just doesn't work like that. And so there is a frustration, I know. And I tell you who the worst is. Our former colleague and friend over in Los Angeles, Mr. Max Bretos, loves stirring the pot. He can cry more than anybody. He must be keeping the handkerchief business alone, thriving with his tears.
Wow, Max Bretos of Max and Herc fame getting a shout out here on Futbol Americas. We were just seeing, Craig, the full screen of the stats of Christian Pulisic. It's quite a long body of work here at this point at Chelsea, right? A
long body of work of him barely starting.
Years since he was brought over back in 2019. How would you qualify, like, his time so far, the 3 years that we've seen? Do you think he's at the level to be a Chelsea player? Because I think, at least in some corners,
he's a solid player.
Or maybe even big parts of the Chelsea fan base, that question is still out there.
I think if he wants to make a mark on a regular basis, he's probably going to have to drop down one level. And I don't mean one level, i.e. the Championship. I mean a level within the Premier League. And whether that's a West Ham or a Newcastle or whoever it is,
he would still struggle there.
You look at the game time that he's had, you look at the possibility of Sterling and others coming, you look at Havertz, Werner's still there. I mean, some of these players might go. Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount, and then
And he's not better than any of those players except for Hudson.
Christian himself. Some of these players might go, but then they might not. And so then you have to ask the question, how much game time am I going to get? Am I prepared to take a drop in wages? Am I prepared to move on and take a loan? It's all things you've got to juggle, and I would be concerned about the game time for him. I think he'll get some. Whether he'll get enough.
Look, man, to be the best, you got to beat the best. Now, I think people, because we're used to this American media, how they prop up certain players and downplay certain players, you know what I'm saying? So they might not understand how European football works. You know what I'm saying? But literally in European football, to be the best, you got to beat the best. Even though they got their favorites too. Trust me, we've already gone over that. But yeah, like it's like every time somebody's about to come in, you know, American media, we got to cover him. And a new one, I'm going to talk about this later in one of my shorts. This goalkeeper, Matt Turner, they're trying to make him the starter so bad. Oh, my God. Zach Steffen, whatever personal thing you go through, you better go through it quick. I don't know what happened to him. Hold on for a second. Let's do some research, because I don't think he understands. Like they're trying to make sure. Ortega. Hey yo, Stefan, you better move to a different club, because he's not going to start on Man City, but he's still America's best keeper. But what he doesn't understand is, bro, you're not going to be number one. They're trying to make Matt Turner number one. Like, I'm telling you, they be putting him on all the billboards. Man, I'll be like, wow. I'll just be like, oh, I see what they're doing. It's not even. It's so obvious what they're doing. It's not even. You know, I don't know what happened, because during the international break, he had like an emergency move. Okay. Hopefully this is true, so Zach Steffen can get his playing time and prove that he's America's best keeper, because I believe he is America's best keeper. Yeah, they're trying. Like I said, I'm literally looking at the way that they promoting this guy, and what people don't know, Matt Turner is from Fairfield University, which is actually not that far from where I live. Kind of snitching on myself here, and I'm just saying, there's people from Fairfield University that has some clout. They got some money, so they you know, he's got some people behind him, you know, that's making it possible to where he could easily be number one, even if he don't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? So that's another topic. I can't wait till I tackle that. That's gonna be funny. But yeah, it's interesting how American sports media works sometimes.